Google Analytics provides you with valuable information that you can use to improve your online business. All that valuable information comes from the people that visit your site. So one of the first things that you should do after setting up your Google Analytics account is to filter out your own activity on your site so that your site activity isn't screwing up the tracked data. Because you see, the more accurate your Google Analytics information is, the more valuable it is. So in this video, I'm going to detail how to create a filter so that your own traffic to the site does not show up in these reports. So of course, you got to log into your Google Analytics account, which I've already done here, and then come on over here to Admin up in the menu bar and click on that. At this point, before we create our filters, you want to make sure that you're going to create that filter in the correct property and account in case you have multiple properties and multiple accounts. So select those from these drop-down boxes here first, and then select the view of the property you want to filter, and then come on over here on the far right column under Views and click on Filters. Then come on up here and click on the big red button that says Add Filter. Now, if this is the very first time that you've created a filter, you're not going to have these two options. But if you have created filters within this Google account, then you're going to have this option to apply existing filters. Just check that. And then you can select whatever filters that you have available, and you can either add them to this particular view or remove them. But we're going to go ahead and create a new filter, give it a name, and since I'm going to be excluding my site activity by way of my IP address, I'm going to go ahead and name it this. So in your filter naming, you want to make it as descriptive as possible. So if, say, a year from now you've got a bazillion different filters, just by looking at the filter name will give you a pretty good idea as to what that filter does. So at this point, come on down here and decide whether you want to go with one of the predefined filter types or creating a custom filter type. I'm going to go with predefined. So under predefined, select filter type and exclude, because we're going to exclude my IP address. And then under select source or destination, just click on that box. And in this case, it's going to be exclude the traffic from the IP addresses. As you can see, you've got other options here as well. And select expression, click on that. We want to equal to. Totally up to you how you want to do this, but keeping this video as simple as possible, I'm going to go with that are equal to. And then I'm just going to put in my entire IP address in this box. Now, how do I find my IP address, you might ask? Well, if you don't know it, come on up here to your browser address bar and type in what is my IP. And if you're in the Google Chrome browser, then it's going to display it for you as part of the results. Otherwise, you can go ahead and try a site like whatismyip.com, and it will display it for you here in the top portion of the page. In either case, copy that IP address, come on back to your filter and paste it in the box here, and then click on Save. And that's how easy it is to create your first and quite possibly most important filter you're going to have. That's the good news. The bad news, kinda, is that this is not 100% perfect because your IP address may change. Even if you have a static IP address, it's possible that if the power goes out to your router, then when the power comes back on, your internet service provider may have reassigned the IP address to that router. In which case, this filter is not going to do you any good because now you've got a different IP address. Not that big of a deal. It's just that when you know that happens, you just come on back in here, click on the filter name, come on down here to the IP address box, and paste in the new IP address. Again, not that big of a deal so long as you're aware when the IP address changes, you come on in here and make those adjustments. Now, there is another type of filter you can use that does not include an IP address filter at all, and that's by way of a plugin for your browser. So I would still suggest you come in and create this filter, but also be aware that if you were to use a plugin or an extension to your browser called Ghostery, now what Ghostery does is it blocks any of your activity from showing up on any Google Analytics report. Actually, it blocks any tracking of your web browser activity whatsoever. And Ghostery works with Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. I'm not sure about Internet Explorer, but I do know that it works with those three major browsers. Now, there are pros and cons to this as well, but between using a browser plugin like Ghostery and an IP address filter within your Google Analytics account, the data being tracked within your reports of your Google Analytics account will be that much more accurate and more valuable as well. Now, before we finish up, I do want to mention that up here in the top right corner on your filtering page is this graduation cap icon that if you click on that, It's going to give you additional information related to filters and filter types. So go ahead and check that out. There's not a lot to it, but it can be some additional valuable information for you. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video on creating filters in your Google Analytics account. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day.